Hello and greetings on this 7th week of Lent. So this week is our final week in our Lent series, our Lenten series. As we transition through the end of Lent to Holy Week. And so what I would like to offer as a way of closing out this series, where we have been reflecting on the power of Lent, and we have been journeying through Lent towards healing, joy, and empowerment, is this notion that we may have heard in places about the power of Jesus' blood. When we talk about the power of the blood, the power of Christ's blood, typically, when people bring that up, they're referring to Christ's suffering. And sometimes Christian theologians, ministers have been guilty of kind of glorifying the violence and the suffering that took place on the cross. And what I'd like to offer is a consideration of Maundy Thursday, and that we emphasize that before Good Friday. And on Maundy Thursday, before the suffering had taken place, before Jesus' unjust execution by the Romans, Jesus had said, took the bread, "This is my body that is given for you." And in a like manner, he took the cup and he said that "This is my blood of the new covenant." And to do these things in remembrance of Jesus. And so what I would suggest that we maybe emphasize is not the suffering, not the violence, not the injustice, but the giving. And that when we observe communion and we receive God's welcome at Christ's table, that's what we remember, that we remember that life, that precious life that was given to us. And so I believe it's important to frame your view of Good Friday through Maundy Thursday. It's important to look at the cross as the thing, the suffering that Jesus went through to get to the resurrection, and not to glorify the suffering of it. In the Gospel of John, Jesus talks about being lifted up. This is how he talks about the cross. It's this lifting up, it's this glorification. The glorification not being the suffering, but in the entering into death, and to overcome it. So as we follow Jesus this week to the Lord's table, the Last Supper, and then the betrayal, the cross, the silence, and the resurrection, may we take courage to give of ourselves, to give of our lives, even if it means suffering, sacrifice, or denial. May we begin to see the suffering that we sometimes encounter as a precursor to new life, to resurrection. And may we not celebrate the suffering or glorify it or emphasize it, but may we celebrate the giving, the self-giving that, yes, sometimes leads to suffering, but which also leads to new life. So I pray that this journey towards healing, joy, and empowerment will have been fruitful for you. That in entering into this weakness in fasting, in self-denial, that you find strength, nourishment, and new life. May your celebration of the resurrection be full and vibrant and holy. And may you participate in the new life, in the resurrection that God is bringing about even now. Go in peace. God bless, and happy Easter.